Well, good morning, good afternoon, good evening, wherever you are, and welcome to our informal chat with Paradigm. We are delighted to have you with us today. To quickly introduce myself, my name is Shraddha Mittal, and I am based in New Delhi. I manage a destination services company called Resettle, which I founded about 4 years ago. And before I go any further, I want to very, very quickly introduce my co-host, who is, well, not in India. He's all the way in Ghana, which is great, which is what we have, which is fantastic about our Paradigm community. So we're hosting this across 6 different locations live, and so excited to be here with you. So yes, with me I have today Pa, who is an immigration lawyer and the head of Globetrotters Legal Africa, and they have their offices in Ghana and Senegal, if I got that correct. And he
Correct.
works on mostly inbound immigration and regulatory compliance. And the little bit that I know, or a lot that I know about Faz so far, is that he is, of course, a proud African, someone who enjoys great music. And I have discovered over the last few days that he has a vintage single malt collection, which I hope to dip into someday.
Yes,
Yeah, welcome,
that's accurate. That's accurate. I'm happy to
Good,
be
good, good.
here and happy to be your co-host as well. Looking forward to this.
Fantastic, fantastic. So before we move ahead, I just want to lay the grounds for what's coming up ahead and talk a little bit about what we are trying to achieve today, why we're here, the reason for this informal chat, and what we're trying to achieve, and of course, what Pa and I wish to do today. So just very quickly, I wanted to say a little bit about Paradigm. We're a community to connect with, global mobility professionals, and this is actually a very collaborative effort, and we are trying to create genuine and meaningful ways in which professionals can grow and thrive within the community, within the industry, and while giving back, of course, to the communities. And we are doing this across different countries. And while we're doing what we do at Paradigm, we also want to have a bit of fun. So just putting that out there, our mission is to grow, to gather, to give back to the communities as well, which is why we have each of these 3 divisions that have been set up, and they are thriving well. We also embrace diversity, and as a group, we encourage innovation. So those are 2 other segments within the Paradigm community. So please, go onto our website, take a look. So today, what we are doing in terms of the informal chat that we have is that this is a event by the Gather team, where Pa and I are members as well. And of course, we're missing Danny and Juliana in Brazil. It's out of their time zone, but we hope to share stories with them at the end of this. And of course, Kim Loy, who is our newest member, and we're obviously growing day by day. It's amazing how the Paradigm community has grown from where we started a few months ago to this. Actually, let me take that back, from where it started with conversations last year between friends about what we wanted to do, why we chose to do this, why the community even came about. And maybe that's a good segue to start, Pa. What got you to Paradigm? What brings you here, and what is it that you're feeling?
Yes. As you rightly said, the conversation started, close to a year back. I've had conversations with Ben and others. And what initially attracted me was the fact that this offered an opportunity for us to connect, even beyond the conferences. Most of the time you go to conferences, you get complimentary cards. And in most cases, it's only when you have business to do with the person that you actually reach out to them. So this, for me, was more of keeping the connections going, because, even for the past few months that we've been on, I've gotten to know quite a lot of people who I didn't know, and I may have not have met at conferences, So I think that the connection bit is the most important part. And also the fact that, we're pulling in everyone from everywhere, basically to get involved on an equal platform, make everybody, connect in such a way that would benefit them eventually professionally, because I believe that making that personal connection makes the professional work even better. So those are the two things that drew me here.
Absolutely agree. And hey there to all those guys who are joining in. We are loving it. Thank you. Keep those comments coming. If you like something, please do press the like button. If you want to leave a comment for us, you have questions, ask along the way. Pav, I'm going to ask you to maybe even tell us more about what's going on and what we have planned for today. And then we'll bring in our guests one by one. And, like Pav said, just before you move on, I think. I remember chatting with Ben about this, Ben Sukia about this last year, and I said, it's great to be part of these conferences, and I feel like I found a small family. But what's happened through Paradigm, which has been interesting, is just the sheer equality of or the platform that we get, the fact that we're six people talking about it, hosting our own LinkedIn Live, doing this. I think it's a different sort of opportunity by itself, and what I have personally found is just the network, which has been my biggest support system over this tremendously challenging year, if I may say so. So yes, I mean, I'm going to let you tell us what we have moving ahead for today, and then we'll introduce our first guest.
Thank you, Shraddha. So just like you said, this is an informal chat. So what we seek to do is to gather people from different parts who are currently members, who have experienced Paradigm, and we'll basically put to them questions such as what drew them to Paradigm, as well as as well as what expectations they have, and what they've experienced so far, and what they look to in the future, future expectations of Paradigm, basically, So.
And before you move ahead, I wanted to also say that, I mean, since we are talking from so many different countries and so many different cultures, I want to ask what's going on today, because I see you in a shirt all the time. This is something different. Is this for Paradigm?
Yes, it's for Paradigm, actually. So for me, I was trying to, as this event is being hosted on different continents, right? I took it as an opportunity to more or less, showcase Africa, basically. So this apparel that I'm wearing is actually something that is worn by kings in the northern parts of Ghana. Locally, it's called fugu. And usually at festivals, you see them wearing this, most likely with red headgears and stuff like that, in public. So that's a little bit about Ghana, so that for somebody who doesn't know anything about us, that is us. And that's basically it. And I think that as we go along as well, I'll probably be chipping in some few fun facts about Africa as well. So I believe that that gives to the whole being hosted in Africa feel as well. Yeah.
Fantastic. So as you guys can tell, for our gathered events, or rather gathered chats or events that we are coming up ahead, we're going to try and add a bit of flavor about what we are, our members, where we're from, discussions, etc. So yeah, you know what we're headed towards. So using this section, I'm going to introduce our first guest today. And she is a ton of fun, I have to add. I'm just going to bring her on and then introduce her. We have with us today Anna. Anna is an immigration lawyer currently based in Sydney in Australia. And she was born and has lived in Australia all her life, but her cultural roots take her back to Pakistan. And she is a very big foodie. This is how she and I even connected. We've never met, but we can talk food. I mean, we can talk for hours. And what I love is that Anna has made a really lovely statement that the one way that she's keeping in touch with, with home is through her mom's cooking, which is fantastic. So Anna, welcome to Paradigm again. Welcome to our Gather Chat. We're excited to have you here. I mean, when Pa, you and I chatted, you talked about how what this community has done or meant for you through these few months. And I wanted to start off with that. What drew you to Paradigm? What exactly is it that you have been looking at getting out of it? So we could start with that.
Yeah, I think for sure one of the biggest and most exciting parts about Paradigm is something that you kind of touched on just before, in terms of you and I can talk easily for a very long time. We could talk probably for the next hour just about food. It's the fact that all of a sudden I went from being in Australia, sort of geographically isolated and also like very isolated from everyone else around because we're currently in lockdown, not being able to see existing friends, to suddenly having a group of, to be honest, people that I would call my friends now. Oh, in the blink of an eye. It happened overnight, and it felt like the connections that everyone had were so genuine, and the conversations we were able to have were so genuine as well. And I think it took a couple, maybe just one meeting with everyone. So certainly everyone in my diversity team, it just took one meeting for me to feel like they're kind of, a mini family on the other side of the world.
Yeah.
And then as I've sort of been drawn into everyone else, and then meeting you, Shada, and then meeting Pa the other day, I already feel like I've known Pa for like months now, even though it's probably been a couple of weeks or so, which is definitely the biggest part of it all, having that connection and having that genuine connection as opposed to just a professional connection, I suppose, because a professional connection doesn't really go that far towards helping certainly your mental health. It's great for at work and someone asks you for a recommendation to someone and you've got a referral straight away. That's fabulous. But having a personal connection is actually just great for your life in general outside of work, and having these people that you can speak to at any given time. And I mean, the fact that there's everyone in these different time zones means that I really do have someone to speak to at any given time. If I'm awake at 2 a.m, I've got someone in the UK that I can message now. So, which is really lovely. Like, it's definitely the absolute best part. And I've had people reach out to me who didn't know anyone else in the Paradigm community before joining. And then through some of the chats that we've had, have discovered, things that they have found in common with me or someone else that's been talking, and they've reached out, and then, it feels like a strange thing to say, but like, another friend. I think certainly the older you get, the harder it is to make genuine friends.
No, and you touched upon something really interesting about how, we've all dealt with different kinds of issues, whether it's mental health, whether it's fatigue, whether it's isolation, whether it is, just wondering where your business is going to grow to, targets you had set for yourself. And that's what I found the most interesting, the fact that it was a group of people I could talk to about each and every one of these things as a different person in a different country. And it's like you said, you wake up sometimes to 62 messages in your group, which is fine.
Yeah.
It's good to know that somebody cares, right? It's good to know that you're something good somewhere.
Yeah. It feels like, if you wake up and you've woken up and you looked at your emails, someone sent you a frustrating email, or you've got something difficult going on, or that the day that you're about to experience is going to be a difficult day. Like, there's people that have been having a little party on the other side of the world while you've been asleep, and you can catch up on those messages, and they're all talking to you, and you're part of something. And
Absolutely.
I think people don't realize how important it is to really feel that way, part of a family, part of a professional group or friendship circle, or people that you have things in common with. Yeah.
Absolutely. So no, exciting. I mean, that's what I mean. Given that none of us have ever been in a room together with each other, it's amazing how much we can chat about it, which is exciting.
Absolutely true. I know. I always feel like I could spend like hours. Normally at the end of a conversation that we've had, I'm like, oh, okay, now it's over. But I could continue to message you afterwards for a really long time because I'm like, oh, I'm not done talking.
Yeah, I think professionally.
Yeah, sorry, I was going to go for that. Yeah, go for it.
Sorry, I was just saying that professionally as well. I've come to realize that the colleagues that I actually have relationship with, especially even those on the Paradigm group, are persons that I've actually worked better with as well. Because instead of issues getting out of hand, you can always give them a phone call prior to have an honest discussion about a case or whatever your guys are collaborating on, and that seems to work much better than one that is devoid of that kind of relationship. So this is actually something that has actually been working. Looking back, even before Paradigm, I've noticed that those that I actually had connections with, there was a much better collaboration and experience without. So I'm all for it. I'm just looking forward to what's in store, basically.
Absolutely, absolutely. And how has it been for you work-wise, Anna?
Work-wise, it's been really interesting in Australia because I think a lot of people around the world think, last year everyone was in the same boat, and all of a sudden we were plunged into this world that was incredibly unknown for everybody. And then slowly this year, I think everyone else started to open up. But because I think in Australia, we're so far away from everyone else, and we've managed to contain things in a very unique way, and we haven't opened up yet. And so there's people in the UK who have gone back to completely normal lives, whereas here we're still very much the same, if not a little bit worse than the height of things last year. And so I've definitely noticed the nature of my work, I think, has really changed, shifted more from that corporate work towards, individual work, or a lot more complicated areas of immigration rather than, your standard, you've got someone from country A going to country B, which has been, really interesting. And having everyone around the world that I have now with Paradigm has made that much better as well, because I sort of have a better idea of what's going on in these other countries. Whereas, it's one thing, I think, to look up or Google, what's happening in Germany. How are they getting on with their lives? Are their borders open? But it's quite another to actually really speak to someone and get their take on it and really understand what's going on. And the only way you can do that is if you know someone. And I can say, because of Paradigm, I've met people in countries that I did not have connections in before. And I can, have those conversations, and they're not necessarily just about work, but they're about, they sort of lead into those things that are related to work. And definitely once borders start to open again, I would love to organize a restaurant crawl. That would be so exciting. It's definitely the one thing, at the beginning of last year, I was like, oh, it's closed, can't travel. It's okay, I'll get over it. But meeting everyone now around the world has made me really want the borders to open up so I can come meet everyone that I've spent so long talking to.
Absolutely. I think I'm going to use that for our Gather event coming up next. I do like the idea of a restaurant crawl. And that being said, I think we're going to jump on to our next guest as well, Anna, but we'll have you back right at the end. We have a little bit of a surprise set up for you. So we'll bring you back. But thank you so much for all those honest conversations, all those honest chats. So I'm just going to bring on our next guest again. Pa, why do you introduce her?
Okay, sure. So thank you. This new guest, I would describe as fantastic. How am I doing as a host? Actually, let me just put this out there. This is the first time I'm actually hosting an event. So caveat, if I'm not doing too well, please put there, either way. So this new guest is Veronika Plešková. She's based in Prague, in the Czech Republic. She runs her own law firm called VP Legal. And I must say that she's been doing this for 1 year. She used to work for, I think, a big law firm, and then she branched. She went out on her own, and now, runs her own business. She specializes in employment and immigration law. Welcome, Veronika, to our informal chat. We're happy to have you here.
Thank you, Pa. Thank you, Shraddha, for inviting and having me here.
No, good to have you here, Veronika. And, I think we obviously have been chatting about many, many things, but I'm going to jump in here with a question that came in through Ben. I think he's talking about he says that, you can only form these genuine connections in person, or that's what we mostly presume, right? And what is, let's say, Veronika, your opinion on that, and what has changed over the last few months, and how do you feel being part of Paradigm?
Yeah.
Well, if I may, I would start with the last question. I felt fantastic with Paradigm because, I had the situation kind of easier because I have known people who have actually created the idea of establishing Paradigm for a couple of years by now, and I dare to call them my friends. So it was like, I didn't have to think much about it, honestly. And what very much touched my heart was the thought behind, because in my experience, other professional organizations, and there are plenty on the market, are more about just business. and any pro bono work or something beyond is as a byproduct. But here at Paradigm, it's been like one of the core ideas why to make something like this. And I think that's what makes it different from any other organization you can see worldwide. And as a benefit, you can meet a large group of awesome people. Like exactly as Anna mentioned before. Like I haven't met you before. I met you like, I don't know, 2 weeks ago. If I'm not counting the conference I saw you at online. But it feels like I know you for ages, and I know when we meet in person one day, it's gonna be a great time together. The same for Shraddha, and the same for everybody else, because you all are simple, genuine people. And I think
we can have some beer as well.
Yeah, and we can have some beers as well, and I'll try to get some whiskey too for you.
Fantastic.
No, really, I mean, what I mean is it's really, you can feel it in the bones, in the DNA of Paradigm, that there is more than just a business meeting of people from immigration area, and that's something what is attracting me so much into this project. And I think we'll speak about the rest later. So
I'm gonna throw in what you had said during our chat with Pa and me earlier. You had mentioned something very interesting about how there's a sort of shared spirit, and then there is what you'd like to do is move towards shared knowledge and shared experiences. And I know this is a new community, which is interesting and exciting at the same time. But I think this is something that many of us want, which is, we want to dip into each other's resources very openly, very genuinely, and ask questions and get that kind of support. And I know that we talked about this earlier as well. So what are your sort of expectations? And I know Pa and I've chatted about this immensely, quite a bit.
Well, thank you, Shraddha. For me, it's because I love sharing if I feel I have what to share, especially if I made some mistake and I can make other person's life easier. I'm happy to share it because I think we all have enough of own mistakes. We don't need to make other ones. And when I feel safe in a community, which is also Paradigm for me, I'm more than open to do that. And I believe here are like-minded people. So I'm sure that it's not only about for me about giving to others, but also I will receive a lot, not only friendship, but also different perspectives, different experiences, also because you all are on different continents and the cultural backgrounds may be different. So that everything is very enriching, and that's what I'm actually expecting from this community, because it's gonna be really global, like in a real sense. It's not gonna be European, it's not gonna be African, it's not gonna be Asian, it's gonna be global. So I'm very much excited about that.
Yeah.
And there's
Shraddha,
equality again. Yeah, go ahead.
Shraddha, on this note, I would like to throw in one fun fact about Africa that I'm sure quite a lot of people didn't know. You know how I've been at I think a conference or an event where, when I mentioned I was from Ghana. What came to mind was just Africa, and I thought that okay, Africa is just more than Ghana is more than Ghana is just one country in Africa, basically. Fun fact: we are in the 54 independent states. For those that would refer to us as one continent, and we currently are also in terms of size bigger than China, India, the continental US, and most of Europe combined. They usually call Africa the next frontier. So my takeaway is that Paradigm should be conquering this frontier as well. And get all of us involved. Make us truly what we represent: global mobility professional. We're global in nature. So that's a fun fact. And as we move along, I will throw in a few other interesting ones that others may not know. So that's just by the way. We are hosting in Africa as well. Yes, we're hosting in Africa. So we're putting in Africa there too. Anyway.
So I'm going to put in the request for our next physical event to be somewhere in Africa. We need to get people down there.
Fantastic. Len is going to come on soon. She's based in South Africa. It's a good location. Ghana is fantastic. Nigeria is a must-see. And there's so many of them. So we will push that agenda, definitely.
Absolutely. So I feel like, thank you so much again, Veronica. We'll bring you back at the end, but I want to jump countries one more time. And I am thinking, let's bring in Spain. Should we do that? Should we bring this really fun guy on? And he has,
Yes.
I'm going to introduce Inigo, who I have met at a conference and had a lot of fun with.
Hi, Inigo.
Hi.
Hi. So just to quickly introduce him, he is the CEO of Bicortex Languages, and they look at providing language and cross-cultural training and legal translations across the globe. He is in Spain, but he has actually lived and worked in 5 other countries, if I'm not mistaken, or rather 5 countries, including Spain. And what I found very interesting is that every year, for about 2 to 3 months, he takes up a camper van, and what did he call it? Calls it a holiday work, where he holidays and works together. I am stealing that idea. I absolutely love it. But yes, exactly. I mean, what's interesting and exciting is that we're doing this in so many different continents together. So you have a viewership that is looking at it in each of these locations, I hope. And please, guys, ask your questions. You have these guys on this informal chat. So, like I said, informal chat, ask away. And Inigo, I think leading on from where we last spoke, and actually even what Veronica said, what you, me, and Pav chatted about is the kind of knowledge that you're coming in to gain and to gain from each other, but also what you come in with, right? Like you and I have spoken at length about, for example, SEO or search engine optimization, and we've talked about how to help our businesses, how to grow, how to get more clients, how to introduce each other to people that would make sense. So yeah, let's chat a little bit about that.
Yeah, thank you, Shraddha, for the great introduction. And both you and Pa, you are doing a great job as hostess. Okay.
Thank you.
So yeah, one of the things that I think I was missing in the global mobility events or conferences is that when you go there, you speak with hundreds of people. ERC, we're talking about how many people, like 2,000, 3,000 people, and you speak during 30 minutes in your speed dates. So you have to go to the core of your business, try to do sales, and so on. But it's that, which is a lot, and it's great. But at Paradigm Community, I think it's something else. It's more about thinking out of the box and discussing about subjects that you don't discuss every day, and they are brought by other people that are in different maybe sectors within the global mobility, but they have similar issues or exactly the same issues as you have. And that's what I expect from Paradigm, and that I'm getting already from it. And one of the main things about that, it's me as a business owner. I like, and this will be planned, I like to discuss about everything except my core business. So I want to discuss about the legal issues I may have, accounting, VAT, taxes, or about what kind of employees do you have? Do you have employees or freelance contractors? How do you do it? What are the risks? What's better? How do you do it in general? And then the third point, which I go back to what Shraddha said, it's about marketing, SEO, and Google positioning. This is nothing to do with global mobility, but I'm sure we are all involved into that somehow. And I've been crazy about that during the last year. I've learned a lot, but I know nothing. And I want to give you just an example. We write some articles to be posted on other websites of companies within the global mobility. So we don't have a budget for a marketing department or to hire like an external marketing firm. So what we do is we have a writer that writes the article, but the article is terrible for SEO. So then we have an SEO expert that we pay to check each article. Then we have somebody to post it on our social medias. And then I check the strategy and the keywords that also in discussion with some SEO experts. So it's like 4 people involved in something that is supposed to be a low budget. So I would like to create a chat to discuss only about this. And I want to share my experience and also learn from other people. And finally, the last thing is tips to get new customers. We all try to work with RMCs. We are all successful with some or many of the RMCs, but I'm sure that everyone have some issues with a few. So I'd like to discuss about what would you suggest to get to this person that doesn't want to talk to me? How do you do it? And so on. So I think these kind of discussions, Paradigm is the only place where it can be addressed, and that's basically my expectation, and what I'm seeing. It's really going into that line.
That is true. I think what it's interesting because since it started, I've had a colleague from Paradigm in Brazil ask about some business in Mexico. It was introductions made between friends. They found it easy to connect with each other because there was a sort of trust factor involved. The working relationship has been great. The people that I have had the pleasure of working with who are at Paradigm, I think we have a very open working relationship with each other where you sort out things as and when they go. Escalations are lower, if that makes any sense. I think we have a trust factor in place. And again, like you said, for me at least, I think what each of us has done during these past 18 months through COVID has been learning so much, but also evolving. We've had to evolve the way we work, the models that we adapt, that we use in our workplace, whether it is the kind of people that are working with us, upskilling them or teaching them a new way of doing things as well. So it's been a lot of challenges. And I know Paradigm as a community officially started recently, but what has happened before this is even the conversations with the people that we've had, we've actually been able to help each other. It's like, hey, I'm going to start a virtual platform for XYZ services. What do you think? And I have this sort of sounding board. I have a test group, if I may say so, that I can, say, hey, do you think this makes sense? Should I be going to the RFC with these, with these products, or should I be pricing it accordingly? I don't think I've had these open chats before, and I really appreciate that. And I like the trust that I know I'm getting a genuine answer back. So for me, that has been extremely useful.
Yeah. On the tech side of things, personally, social media has been one area that I have not, as a firm, we've not done a lot, basically. So I was very, very delighted and excited when the innovation team had a chat that brought on Roman to discuss how you can leverage social media marketing for your business. And it was really, really helpful. I think these are some of the benefits that, come with this. You sort of have everything in one: business, connections, genuineness, and all of those things. And that's, for me, is the seller as well. Is the attraction that I do get from Paradigm. And I know that there are other events coming up as well, which will be very, very interesting to sign on to. And those will be put out. Those will be put out maybe on the website and others as well. So it'll be good for us to participate.
So true. As a member, you also get access to what we have within our Grow team. There are different courses, there are different things that are being talked about. It's open to, I'm sure there's a lot collaborative effort coming together to address the kind of questions that we have asked today. So dip in to take a look, see what we're trying to do. And I think on that note, I also want to bring in our next guest here. And Inigo, we're going to get you back again. And yes, one day I will spend that hour with you to learn how to pronounce your name correctly. I know we have that. We have that scheduled.
Just one last thing. Of course, there will be a party in Seville. Okay. So don't worry about that. Leave it with me. And yes, there will be a party. Definitely.
I have full faith in you in that. Yes.
Okay. So on that note, I would like to introduce our next speaker, next guest. She's quite a character, very interesting. She's a lawyer. She's worked in both the private and the public law sectors with over 13 years of experience, including immigration. She hails from SA, South Africa. I can see that. Yeah, I can see that. Lovely place. She's a fitness enthusiast, as well as a mega Springbok rugby fan. I can tell from the scarf you have around your neck.
Yes.
Not to take too much, into what you're going to say, but can you tell us a bit about why you have that scarf around your neck, if you can?
Well, South African Springboks is a very special team for us in South Africa. Not only, has it been sort of our national sport for lots of years. But it's pretty significant because it's really a time in our country where we really come together as one nation. And it is also significant because after the, the segregation and everything from apartheid, and we had our first democratic election in 1994. 1995, South Africa hosted the Rugby World Cup, which we won. And it was really so significant for us to come to united as the Rainbow Nation. And so whenever we wear this scarf, we are one people, one love, one rugby team. And it always makes us happy and smile and talk about the genuine relationships and connection we have as South Africans. It always warms my heart. So I wear this with such pride. And
Fantastic.
we are currently the Rugby World Cup champions.
Fantastic. Great to know. I mean, just a quick one. I know you've been part of Paradigm since the beginning. You've actually, been there, been active on Discord and all of those things. Can you just, in a few seconds, I know I've asked this question in the, of previous speakers, but can you tell us what drew you to Paradigm and, just a little bit about that? I think that is always a good start.
Well, yes. Initially, actually, when I was asked, and it was brought to my attention that this amazing initiative was coming together in this community and organization, I was so excited about it. But I was also quite sad because at that time I was transitioning out of global mobility. So I didn't think I was eligible at all to be a part of it. And so when I mentioned to Ben, he was just like, no, this is for everybody. This is for everyone who has an interest in making a change in the world and growing as a professional and giving back to their communities and sharing and just gaining so much light in the world that we can at least have that in common. And which made me very happy because I didn't feel less of an imposter because now I'm transitioning into a new legal discipline. And so I absolutely embraced the opportunity, particularly because it wasn't really only about what value that I could bring and what, Ben, Sukia, and Massimo thought that I could bring to the table just in terms of my experience and from a professional side, but just who I am as a person. As you can tell, I'm quite energetic. I'm not everybody's cup of tea. And so I always really love the acceptance factor and being included. And that is what I felt right off the bat when I was introduced to such an amazing community, and I wanted to be a part of that. And in addition, the fact that I'm very passionate about my work, and I have a huge history in public law and public interest. And so when I thought about, well, how could I really add that type of value to the community? What could I really give, considering that I'm no longer in mobility or immigration and all of that? So, tapping into my passion of public interest law and the fact that I've worked for years in refugee resettlement and helping economic migrants move from Central America and the Middle East. And so that was really exciting for me that there's this give group that just speaks into my narrative, that I am able to utilize what the skills that I've developed and also expand on that and the network in order for me to give back to the community. So that's the Give initiative. We have our chief, who is Massimo Mason, call him our chief. And so we have such amazing opportunities to volunteer, different projects. We have different organizations. We had an event where members have the opportunity to listen and hear organizations that we have picked as a group, hear what they have to offer, and then the members get to vote for the organization that they feel most called for, the cause they feel most called for, and then our membership fees, a portion of that gets given to the designated organization. But that's not where it ends. It's not like we're just giving money and running away. We are getting involved. We are getting our hands dirty. We're finding projects where we can really be a part of what's happening in the growth of an organization or a cause. And so we're working on that with our volunteer crowdsourcing, seeing where that takes us. So it's really a collaborative effort. And that for me is really great because It really speaks to us as professionals where we really also have other obligations and responsibilities, but we lean on each other. And when one is down, we pick the other one up. And I love that about that. I never feel like it's an obligation or I need to check in. I feel like I want to check in. I feel like I want to hang out, listen to Massimo's Spotify song of the day. And I want to engage with Ben and Pa and Shraddha. I want to do those things. Those are the things that energize me in my work and also in my life. So that's in a few sentences.
Wow. A very energetic answer there. Okay, did you know this about South Africa? You know did you know that how almost half of the gold ever mined in the world came from SA? Did you know that?
No, I did not know that, but it does not surprise me.
Yeah, I've been checking out these fun facts about Africa, and I try at the least opportunity. Yeah,
we need to share. We need to share that, Pa.
Yes. Half of the gold of the world has come from South Africa. Actually, one place in South Africa.
What am I doing with my life? I need to just say goodbye to everybody and start digging in my backyard.
Oh yeah, definitely. And talking about Africa again. We make the best food, I think. I've always had this conversation with Kunle, who I'm sure is watching now, and I'm just using this opportunity as a host to throw a punch at him. Ghana makes the best jollof rice, and no contest. Anyone from Nigeria, Senegal will be doubting this, but I have this platform and I'm putting it out there. Ghana makes the best jollof rice. Yes.
I'm happy to do a taste test. I'm happy to be the judge. Bring it.
yes. When we start in-person meetings, I'm sure I can package some jollof rice of Ghana. Kunle can bring his from Nigeria, and then you can be the best judge of that.
Absolutely.
But that's interesting. So if I can ask, I mean, you told us about what you've come to experience Paradigm as. Do you have any thoughts on what you expect? I mean, in the coming year, what else do you think Paradigm should be doing? In terms of expectations or your expectations, basically.
I think just off the bat is the expectations needs to be organic and develop as you go along. I don't think we need to put too much pressure on what the extent of that may be right now. But what I do like and what I have seen is that there is work being done, and not just work being said that's being done. And that's the difference. There's a lot of associations I've been a part of that say a lot of things and do very little. And I see it in the background. I see it in our little group chats where we are really trying to delegate and plan and have our check-ins and who's doing what, and we're delivering. And even just in this is delivering. We are bringing it to the forefront. We are informing people. We feel good about it. You see us on LinkedIn. You see us on YouTube. We are sending out articles. We are creating masterclasses. We are the doers, and that's the only expectation that I have. The expectations that I have experienced has superseded that, because I have experienced the most amazing connections that I never thought that I would in an organization such as this, in a community such as this. I've learned so much, things that were so unexpected. For example, being in the Give group, I've been allocated to be the communications person. Now, communications for me, in my head, I was like, I'm not qualified for this. Not at all. I don't know anything about being tech savvy and broadcasting and all kinds of things. And I was just like, okay, well, what do I have to do? And I remember working on something with you, who is amazing. And she asked me to do some digital event poster. And mind you, I did not even have a clue. But she was so supportive, walked me through it. I felt like a kindergarten who had just drawn my first, stick figure, because I had created this digital pamphlet all by myself, and that was something I couldn't do before. So those are the unexpected things that I've experience where I'm growing and developing in skills that A, I never had before, and B, I have the amazing support of everybody who's helping me do that. So including writing too. I've been really wanting to get back into writing. So I've collaborated with amazing people. Shira's putting us, we are writing together. Yes, we already did an article together, and it's amazing. You're across the world and you get to write together. Like, you can't find that anywhere else. And it really is an amazing opportunity. And I'm so, so, so honored to be a part of it.
Fantastic. Good.
Great.
On this note, I am going to get the rest of us back on board because we have a few questions that came, and I'm going to ask people to join in. And, it's good for everyone who's watching, who's listening in. Thank you, firstly. We love it. We appreciate it. And the reason for this gather chat also, and for us talking about Paradigm, etc., was to kind of circle back because moving forward, we will close up the events which are currently open live events, and we will see what the format is going forward. And maybe make it a lot, and we will focus a lot on the members who have joined in so far. But today, the idea was to circle back, see what what the journey has been so far. And I mean, there's an interesting question that came in that should the gatherings be formal and planned or more casual and spontaneous? And what do we think is the best approach? I mean, my answer is we're a group that collaborates, it's democratic, it's open. So it's open to anyone and everyone's suggestion. But what do you guys feel?
I mean, I think personally, it should be a mixture. A mixture in the sense that, yes, there may be times when we can talk serious business, and the other times when, not so serious business, because I am a believer in it is a not so serious business that makes the business one much better. So that's my take on it.
No, absolutely.
Yeah, I absolutely agree with Pa. I think just sort of a hybrid model gives you just a sense of variety. I think sometimes if you're sticking to one thing, it becomes a little mundane. And so being able to have those, and I like the way that we are testing it out now, is that we have the informal chats, we have formal presentations, we have, just group chats, Zoom calls, whatever the case may be. And that variety in itself actually, for me personally, brings a lot of value and excitement because you never know what's going to happen today. It's exciting, and it's so I'm a full advocate for the sort of hybrid model.
I also agree with the hybrid model, but I would add that this mixture should be like small groups, up to 5-6 people, to have an informal chat where you can brainstorm, bring up ideas and so on. Then once you decide how you want to do it or the specifics, the content and agenda, then you do a formal where it's more open to everyone.
No, absolutely. I think so. I mean, keeping the spirit of that again in mind, and given that this is a gather forum that we're trying to put out there, and I'm sure Pa will join back again. I think what's been interesting is to figure out how internet connectivity is in different places as well. I think we've struggled with that over the last 1 week. But that being said, what we thought, since it's a gather event and this was meant to be a fun, easy, informal chat, Pa and I put together some quick rapid fire questions for you guys, and we thought we'd end on a fun note. And brace yourself. The idea is not to embarrass anybody, but just to have a bit of fun while we are part of Paradigm. And of course, we will address the serious stuff, but not right now.
Okay, we found a friend. Ask the audience.
Oh dear. Alrighty, so I am going to get started very quickly, one by one. I have on my screen Lynn, Anna, Inigo, and Veronica, and I'm going to go one by one and quickly ask you questions. You have exactly 3 seconds to respond, and then we'll do it very quickly before we end the chat here. Yeah? All right, so Lynn, this one's for you. Where would you travel to if you knew there was a chance you would have to stay there for at least up to a year? 1, 2, 3.
Italy.
Okay, lovely, great. Okay, circling back to Anna here. What is the first thing that comes to your mind when I say lunch?
Oh, curry. I think it's because I had curry for lunch. I honestly thought of 5 different things at that time, but not every food could come out of my mouth at once. So,
Okay. We have Inigo. What's the craziest request you've ever had in your working career?
The craziest. Oh my
Craziest
God.
request from a client.
That was in Africa, actually, in Niger. Yeah, I was there for 3 months doing a project, and I have to help somebody with the ships. We were installing antennas, big satellite antennas, and then there were people taking care of the site, and then I had to help the person with the ships. So that was crazy.
Fair enough. That's a good one. All right. So, Veronica, what movie made you laugh the hardest?
Wow. Well, I think it's a Czech movie. It's something like oh, I don't know the expression. It's like if you make your bed very comfortable. If there's any such word in English for that. So that's the name of the movie. It's from like the communist era, but it's a very fun movie because of all the dialogues therein, and it's some kind of like tradition we watch every Christmas break. So
Oh, wow.
perhaps
We have
this
more
one.
traditions coming about. Nice, lovely. Yeah, because I mean, over this time, I've realized who's a movie buff and who's of course, a foodie and who's the whiskey buff, etc. So this is interesting information coming out. Quickly back to Lynn. What do you want people to remember you for?
My passion for life, my passion for my work. Yeah, that's really what I
And
want
that's
people to
your
remember.
energy.
me
Yeah,
by.
I'm going to add energy
Yeah.
back in there.
Yeah.
Anna, come on. If you were a condiment, what would you be and why?
Love it.
This is so hard because I'm also at the same time thinking about condiments, and now I'm thinking about dinner, but I won't get carried away. I think I would be sweet chili sauce, because chili sauce, like I was gonna say hot sauce because hot sauce I love. It's got a kick to it. Everyone likes hot sauce, whether or not they say they can stand the heat or not. I think everyone likes a bit of hot sauce, but also the sweetness. So, which is important, I think. So I think I'd be sweet chili sauce for sure. Let
I
me
like
know in
that.
the comments if you disagree. If you think I'd be like soy sauce, like super salty or something.
I think we
I want
go
Okay.
far
to
back. I'm throwing a question at you, huh?
Oh, I
Would you
thought I
have-
dropped off. I thought I dropped off to avoid the questions.
Oh, sorry, you're not as
You caught me
stupid
back
as
in
you
time.
think.
Okay, go ahead. Shoot, I'll definitely answer.
Would you rather be the funniest or the smartest person in the room? I forgot to add 3 seconds to respond.
I don't
He's
really.
slow and
I
sure.
don't really. I was going to say funny, but I don't want the kind of funny that will give the impression that I don't know anything, and I don't want to be the smartest and give the information, the impression that I'm not funny. So, but if I'm to choose, I'll go for funny.
Alrighty, we like that. That answer was apt. Okay. All right, to Inigo then. Tell us a hidden talent.
Oof, I can jungle with 3 or 4 balls, and
Okay.
and I even a few years ago, when I used to go out more than now, of course, I've even asked money for that, doing that and asking money, and I made a few euros.
Oh, you
that's
made it to
interesting.
Europe.
Well
This
done.
is yeah, I love it. Okay, great story. Thank you for sharing.
Very few, very few.
Enhanced by cortex languages.
Exactly. Yeah.
All right, Veronica, this is the last one for you. If you had 1 extra hour in the day, what would you use it on?
For sleep.
Oh, I love that. Yes, I have a 5-year-old baby. I could sleep too. I hear you on that.
Yeah, that's interesting. Do you have any more questions from in the chat?
I do. I can
I
throw
don't-
one at you before we sum up what's happening today. And yeah, okay, this is one for you. I know you like your history as well. Which historical figure would you like to meet and why?
Wow, there are lots of them. Maybe Abraham Lincoln. For the strangest of reasons, what comes to mind first is his beard. And as you can see, I'm more or less following his footsteps with the beard. But generally, what inspires him or what inspired him to bring a change that has basically revolutionized how we interact with people, whether you're black or white, stuff like that. Those things for me are more genuine and more impactful, so to speak. So definitely Abraham Lincoln for his contribution to
That's a great answer. That's great.
America. Actually, I think it sounds like a political answer, but more importantly, the fact that he had the very nice beard is what pushes me to that to him basically.
Well, fun fact is last week Inigo had a beard too. So yes.
Okay.
Oh,
It's gone now.
okay. I have kept this since the beginning of COVID, so I maybe
COVID
after we
beard.
start traveling, I will shave it off. The next time you see me, I may look different, so beware, basically.
All right, perfect. So this was good. Thank you for the very quick answers. Thank you for sharing and thank you for being so honest and open, guys. It was absolutely wonderful having this chat with you. It was an informal chat, so I don't know what anyone thought about it. We would again love your comments, love to know what you felt, and the idea was to share what we are trying to create here, what has been created, what's coming up in terms of what's moving ahead. We have another event which is coming, or rather another chat that's coming up next week by the Grow Initiative. You can look that up on our website, and we're posting a link here as well. And do take a look, do dip into what we're trying to do. Very quickly, if you have to sum up today, I'm just going to ask you guys to go one by one and then we will end this chat. And again, I'm going to say thank you so much for watching us. We have loved an audience. We have loved the comments that have been flying our way. And, happy to do this time and again. So, yes, let's start with you, Lynn.
Okay, yes. Well, say that again. Just to round up, I just want to just thank you very much for inviting me on this amazing chat to represent sort of the give side and also to just share with everybody, what this community has meant to me, but also to give you all the tools and a little bit of insight into what we do so you can make your own opinion and check us out and do your own due diligence. And we would love for you to join us. And, as I said before, you don't have to be in mobility. If you just have a passion for what we offer, come on down. We would just love to have you. And we would embrace you wholeheartedly. So thank you, everybody.
That was lovely. Anna, how about you?
Well, I guess echoing what Lynn has said, I think Paradigm as a group has been so great in getting so many different people together. I have, a couple days ago, I didn't know a few people in this chat, and just recently been talking to like Veronica about cakes and things. And I already feel like I feel like I know Veronica so well all of a sudden, and it's just really nice. And I would say that if you're considering joining and you're not sure, you are either new in the industry, in any element of the industry as well, and you feel like you don't know anyone who's part of Paradigm already, or you don't know where exactly you would slot in, you don't know whether it's give or gather or diversity, it just doesn't matter, because as soon as you join, you will organically find the right group for you or groups for you. You might feel passionate about more than one thing, and the one thing I can definitely say is that it's so good to get involved no matter what stage of your career you're at, but especially if you're in the early stages and you are younger, and you don't know many people out there, not just because of your professional connections and what you'll get from that element of it, but just for the genuine friendship side of things, it will make such a great deal of difference to your day-to-day life. I genuinely feel that. So, that's been the great thing about Paradigm and these chats and getting to know everyone. I feel like I get to know everyone in the chat and everyone in the comments while we do it, which is what's great.
Now, thanks, Anna. Coming back to you, Inigo.
We don't have much time, I think. So for me, it's
Yeah, we're
personal-
almost through. So make it quick, yes.
Yeah, personal and business. I think that's the key, and I can find both things on Paradigm Community.
Absolutely, absolutely. And we have Veronica.
Well, I will be quick too. Actually, I totally second to what Lane, Anna, and Inigo have just said. And I would just like encourage everyone who is perhaps shy and kind of concerned that would be lonely here in this group. Don't worry, everyone will make sure that you will feel like being a part of this global family very quickly. So don't worry.
Yeah, for me, it's a good feeling, and I just want to experience more of it. That's it.
Okay. So there you have us. This is, in a nutshell, Paradigm. And thank you so much for watching, guys. And thank you for everyone who was on this show today. And yeah, we will catch up soon again. Thank you, guys.
Can't
Thanks
wait.
again.
Thank you. Thank you, everybody.
Thank
Nice
you.
Bye.
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 Bye, everyone.